In a perfect world, our band rehearsals would always start right on time with all of our students in their seat and having everything that they need ready for a great rehearsal. We know that that's probably about as likely as us as band directors always having every single thing that we need and always being in the perfect frame of mind for a productive rehearsal. It's probably not going to happen very often. And both of those are reasons why my warm-up system is so helpful. It starts rehearsals consistently every time, and it's more predictability for students, and it's a lot less stress for me. I wanted to give you a window into the warm-up system that I use. It's called Amplified Warmups, and this is footage from a couple of actual rehearsals within the last week and a half or so with my band. This is my 8th grade band. It's half of it anyway. The two halves of my band rehearse every other day. You can see that as the band is getting ready, the students are preparing. What's not happening though is students are just standing around socializing. They know that that countdown has begun. They're getting everything that they need because they know that they're going to have to play the warm-up and start it at a certain point. On this particular day, a student asked me to get a tenor sax read. I was able to go do that, no problem, because I know that the warm-up is going to start with me or without me, and that's no stress there to go ahead and do that. I want to show you what's going on with the other half of my band. So in the first band, you didn't hear very much instrument playing happening during the warm-up. Here in this one, there's a lot of playing happening, which I'm okay with because I know that as the warm-up gets down and ends, that they're going to hear it, and then this is going to happen.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And the warm-up track doesn't have to be very loud before they can still hear that it's coming to an end and know to move on and get ready for line A of the warm-up. So we're going to go back with the other band, and you can hear what's happening with this band during the warm-up. So there's still a couple of students coming into the room, making their way to the seats. So as I said, this is my 8th grade band. They're in their 4th year of playing in band, and so they're playing one of my level 4 warm-ups, which are for 4th year bands. This is warm-up 4A, which means it's for the first half of their 4th year. We'll be transitioning to 4B here in a couple of weeks, but for right now, we're still going on 4A. They've been playing it for a while. This was one of the first rehearsals back after winter break, so some of it was a little rough. I'll let you listen to a little bit here. So what we did with the next rehearsals, we spent a little bit of extra time working on some of these intervals, getting to the point where they could hear them better, hear them before they play it, and also just holding the pitch centered and solid on each note. One of the intervals that we had to work on was this tritone that's coming up. We also worked on that 5th there at the end. So just working on those intervals, getting them solid, trying to get them as centered as quickly as possible. This line is about pushing their ability on articulation. Some of the students are able to do it just fine at this tempo. Some of the students are still struggling to keep up with a little bit, and for me, that's kind of the sweet spot of the warm-up. I want to push them so that some students are going to be able to get it, but most students are going to be. It's just going to be that right level of challenge for them. This next line is pedal tones and low notes for woodwinds. And again, just working on the steadiness of the notes. I followed this up at the next rehearsal, playing a recording of the Blue Devils Drum and Bugle Corps playing their pedal tones and just how solid and sustained their pedal tones are, and challenged them to do that. So as the warm-up is going on this day, you can see I'm going around. I'm actually putting pencils on the stands. We have another rehearsal right before mine, so I can't always get the room set up exactly the way I want it. So the warm-up is a good opportunity to do some of those things that I may not have had the chance to do to set up the room. So brass lip slurs are a part of every warm-up that I have. This also has the woodwinds playing arpeggios. The next rehearsal, we went back and spent some time checking, especially some of the woodwind arpeggios, making sure they were using the right fingerings and had a better foundation for what they're playing. As long as I've taught, I would think that I'm able to take in everything that the band is playing and be able to assess it and prioritize things in the situation. Whenever I go back to listen to recordings, it's always a reminder that there's so much that I don't get in the moment. So just impressed upon me again the importance of listening to rehearsal recordings. This line has him playing the chords and trying to play good uniform releases. And always ending with this scale forte piano crescendo. So they're doing a pretty good job of holding the intonation through it. I think that's just a skill that needs to be practiced every day. No matter if you have a young band or a high school band, I think it's a good skill because it's a big time ensemble thing that just needs to be developed. So that's a real world look into how the warm-ups work with my band. I feel a little bit insecure, to be honest, sharing these videos with you because the band is not where I want it to be. It's in the middle of the year. They're not a finished product, but it's helpful to note in the middle of the year that it's not a huge lift to get rehearsals started every time. I know that they're going to get started consistently and productively and without any stress on my part. All I have to do is press play, and if that's all I'm able to do, great. You could see that I was able to be up front most of the time during this rehearsal. It's not always the case. Sometimes, just like you, I have to go get music or troubleshoot an instrument or maybe have a quick conference with the student. Just any number of things that can pull us away from the front. But it's so important to be able to keep the band going to get that consistency at the beginning of rehearsals. If you want to see how these warm-ups can work with your band, there is a free sample that you can get at amplifiedwarmups.com/sample. And you download that, you print off the parts, give them to your musicians, press play on the audio track, and just let it go. And you'll see how the warm-up can work in your band. You can see that it doesn't take a big sound system. It doesn't take a lot of effort on your part to get that productive, consistent start to your rehearsal. So in a couple weeks, like I said, we're going to be switching to the next part of the level 4 warm-up, 4B. And so I'm going to try to record that and share with you what it looks like when they're playing through a warm-up for the first time. So stay tuned for that. You can subscribe to the Amplified Warm-Ups YouTube channel to get a notification when that comes out. Look forward to hearing from you, and check out that sample warm-up at amplifiedwarmups.com/sample. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.